Hello everyone, welcome to EduTap. Welcome to your current affairs class for AFO 2020-21. So guys, this is your second class under this series, which is lecture 49th of current affairs. So basically in this series we have conducted 48 lectures in which this is your second lecture of current affairs. Okay? So guys, today I'm going to discuss with you important schemes and reports. Some most important questions have been picked up along with the explanation so that we can discuss the same, and this is going to be helpful for your IBPS examination of AFO, the mains examination. Okay guys? Before we proceed, I would request you to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you are new here. This way you can get the latest videos, daily videos, which will be helpful for your competitive examinations, and you can also join our Telegram channel. The link for the same is in the description of this video, right? So all the PDFs, all the free content will be available on our channel. And moving forward, I would like to tell you that EduTap is blessed to have such a brilliant result in all the different examinations. RBI, NABARD, SEBI, all examinations, and guys, even in AFO you can see we have produced results in top 10 category also. Moving to the courses guys, so we have brought for you AFO 2020-21 course. We are currently offering discount also on the course. Please do visit our website to know more about the course, and you can also drop us a mail at hello@edutap.co.in to know more about the courses. I'll write the email ID here. hello@edutap, right? Guys, taking you to the question. See here, all ID is also written. Okay. So guys, I have today 17 questions for you. Important questions are there along with the explanation. This is going to be helpful to you for your examination. ARD current affairs, this is a part of. The very first question is, which of the following sustainable goals of United Nations promotes sustainable agriculture? So sustainable development goals of United Nations are very important. There are total 17 goals which are to be attained by the year 2030. Okay, every country is trying to attain the goal, but the goal which is related to sustainable agriculture is which in number? तो फ्रेंड्स ऑप्शन देख सकते हैं SDG 3, SDG 5, SDG 4, SDG 2 और none of the above. Our answer is SDG 2. Basically SDG 2 is related to zero hunger. Okay, so that's why the zero hunger is ultimately related to your sustainable agriculture. Right, please do not forget, it's very important. Anyhow, all goals are important for you, but this one is specifically related to agriculture, so you have to know about it. Next question, which of the following state government has observed a maximum increase in the livestock population? So this is as per the latest livestock census which is available. Okay, it was released in 2019, so this is the latest one, 20th edition of the same. So the state government of West Bengal has observed maximum increase in the livestock population. This is very important for you. Okay, questions from livestock census can be there in your examination, right? So West Bengal has observed maximum increase in the population, which is followed by Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. So West Bengal is at first position, Telangana second, Andhra Pradesh third. Okay guys, this is important for you. Increase, we are talking about the maximum increase in the population, right? So please see here West Bengal is which has the percentage change 23.51. Okay, otherwise the maximum population in the year 2019 was of Uttar Pradesh, but maximum increase has been observed in West Bengal. Okay, you can read down, note down this table also. The PDF will be available on our Telegram group from where you can download this. Question 3. How much is the total livestock population of India as per the 20th livestock census? Again, important question. What is the total livestock population? 560 millions, 530 millions, 540 millions, 537 millions or 553 millions? So guys, the answer is 537 millions. Option 4. This is exact a figure based question. You have to remember the exact figure. The total livestock population of India is 536.76. See, here points, decimals were not given. But if decimals are there, you have to know the exact figure, 536.76 or else 537 millions. Okay, this is an increase of 4.8% over the previous census. So the last census of livestock was passed in 2012, 19th edition. In 2019, the edition of 20th edition of the census was passed. Okay, this is the latest one, so this is relevant. Okay, so livestock population, you can see 536.76 is green, basically caters to 2019. Similarly, you have to know in millions the population of cattle, which is 193.46. Buffaloes 109.85. Then sheep, guys, it's 74.26 millions in the year 2019. Okay, it has increased. Most of them have increased only. Goats have also increased 148.88 and pigs have decreased. So this is one exceptional thing you have to know, that the livestock, the population of pigs has decreased as compared to the previous livestock census. Otherwise, rest all, you can see cattle, buffalo, sheep, goat, the population has increased in comparison to the previous census. So these figures are important again. Although I have made a question on only one figure, but all rest figures are also important for you. Okay. Next question is, how much is the total bovine population of India as per the 20th livestock census? So guys, bovine population is 304 millions. Okay, bovine includes cattle, buffalo, mithun and yak. So this is 303.76 million, and this has also shown an increase of 1.3% over the 19th census. This is also increased. And the total number of cattle in the country we have seen is 193.46, whereas bovine, which includes cattle, buffalo, mithun, yak, etc., is almost double. Next question, guys, how much is the share of goat in the total livestock population of India? So the percentage of goat in total livestock population is asked. The answer to the same would be option 2, that is 27%. So goat's answer would be 27%. Okay, I'll show you a chart. See, this is the total livestock population of 2019 as per the latest census. This is in the percentages. This is about major species. So the total out of all the species, the maximum population is of cattle, that is 36.04, while goat is 27.74 or 28%, it is said, right? Least is of pigs as of now. So the major population is of cattle, more than 35%, and least is of pigs, which is less than 2%. Okay, cattle is followed by buffalo. Okay, guys, this is, I hope, important. You will keep this in mind. Question 6th. Which of the following states in India ranks first in total cattle population? Yes, in the total cattle population, if we talk about, West Bengal is the state which is at the top in all the Indian states. If we talk about total buffalo population, then you have to see the total buffalo population is in Uttar Pradesh, 33.0, you can see. And total cattle population. This is about buffalo, leading states in buffalo population, while this is the previous one was about only cattle population. Okay. Yes, this is the slide which I wanted to show you. This slide is, I'm sorry, this is like, this had to be at the first place. So West Bengal has 19.1. This is in millions again, right? This is the highest about cattle. And if we talk about buffalo, then it's UP, followed by Rajasthan. So these are all rich states in terms of population of livestock. UP, Rajasthan, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Bihar, these are all important states. So if we talk about cattle, it's West Bengal. If we talk about buffalo, it's UP. I'll just write here cattle and buffalo. So cattle is West Bengal. This is UP. Please keep this in mind. Right? Next question, by how much percentage the high milk yielding exotic or crossbred cattle population has increased compared to the previous census? So this is also a question from the census itself, the livestock census. Exotic or crossbred cattle population which has increased is 34% when we compare it with the previous population. Okay, milch cattle has increased by 34.3% over the previous census. So increase in exotic or crossbred if we talk about, then it will become 29.3. Okay guys, so milch cattle is 34.3 and 29.3 increase in the exotic or crossbred cattle population. Question 8. As per annual report of NABARD 2019-20, which of the following states stands first in terms of marine fish production? This is very important. There are a lot of schemes which are related to fish production. Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana we have discussed yesterday in your current affairs class, that a handbook of the same was launched, and this Sampada Yojana for doubling, the target was given that by 2030 we want that this much should be the cost, this much should be the uh, exact amount we are of the fishes production. So that is important. So this data is taken from, guys, annual report of NABARD. So that is why this is the most authentic data. You have to rely on this, and 2019-20 the latest version available. Question is, which state stands first in terms of marine fish production? Maharashtra, Gujarat, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, or none of the above? Any guesses here? So our answer to the question would be Gujarat, guys. Acha, this is very interesting because Gujarat is the state with highest coastline also, right? It has the highest coastline. So that is why you can say the marine fish production is also high here. Okay, so that's the right answer. It's not 3, it's rather 2. I'm sorry, I'll just make it correct in the PDF. Okay. As per the annual report, Gujarat has 19% of the total fish production in the leading marine fish producing states. And guys, Gujarat is followed by Andhra Pradesh, which is followed by Tamil Nadu. So in yesterday's class, I had mentioned that Erode is in Kerala. I'm sorry for my weak knowledge about the districts of Tamil Nadu and Kerala. Erode is in actually Tamil Nadu. So someone had corrected me there. So thank you for that, guys. Coming back to the question. So Gujarat followed by Andhra Pradesh, which is itself followed by Tamil Nadu. These are the 3 leading states in terms of marine fish production. Okay, marine fish production is basically limited to 4 states and 9 states and 4 UTs in India because of the obvious reasons, you know, the coastline. India has a diverse landscape, so the states which have coastline, they only are able to do the fish production. We are not able to produce much of it, but now with our schemes like Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana, we are planning to do so. This is an important scheme. Please see yesterday's lecture if you missed out it. Okay? Question 9th, guys. As part of the third tranche of measures announcements made by the Union Finance Minister of India to strengthen infrastructure, logistics, capacity building, governance and administrative reforms for agriculture, fisheries and food processing sectors, Operation Greens scheme would be extended from TOPS, that is tomato, onion and potato, to all fruits and vegetables. Operation Greens scheme is run by. So guys, the question is about that Operation Green scheme is related to which ministry, but this question is itself giving you a lot of information. That is, as part of your Atmanirbhar Bharat package, that is the measures related to self-reliance of India, Operation Greens, it was announced that Operation Greens was earlier limited to TOPS, right? So TOPS to all now it has become. That is, tomato, onion, potato scheme now extended to all fruits and veggies, right? The Operation Green scheme is related to the Ministry of Food Processing and Industry, MOFPI. Okay, this is very important. Operation Greens is run by this particular ministry and is now extended. The scheme provides subsidy on the transportation from surplus to deficient markets. 50% subsidy is there on the transportation and 50% subsidy is provided on storage, which includes cold storages. Although India has a shortage of cold storages, but still, this is a very appreciable scheme. This is also called as TOPS to all now, but otherwise its name is Operation Greens. So on the lines of Operation Flood, it was launched. That probably we are aiming to increase the production of horticulture, fruits and veggies in India, and by providing subsidy on the transportation as well as storage. right? This is again very important. Next question, which of the following is or are matched correctly regarding the holding type and the size of land in India? Very important question. You have to know, if you are an agriculture student, you have to know that what type of farmers are highest in India. Marginal, small, medium, large, or all of the above are actually large. ठीक है, तो marginal, the categorization is 1 hectare of land or less, small is 1 to 2, medium is 4 to 10, large is above 10 hectares. A farmer or a landholder is considered large landholder. What is the answer to the question, guys? The answer to the question is, the answer to the question is all of the above. So these are actually correct. See, this is basically the graph you have to know. This is again taken from your census. It's very important. So marginal land holding is 1 hectare or less. Small is 1 to 2, semi-medium 2 to 4, medium 4 to 10, large is all sizes above 10 hectares are considered large, right? So you have to find out, guys, your homework is that which type of holding is highest in India. That means that which type of farmers, marginal, small, medium, semi-medium or large, are highest in number in India. That is your homework of the day, right? Please do find it out. Yesterday also students have given the answer. I asked the question about Raitu Bandhu scheme. The answer given is correct. Thank you for that. But do find this out and mention in the comments below. Okay, guys, this classification is very important. Keep this in mind. Next question. Cabinet has given its approval to a new pan-India central sector scheme called Agri-Infrastructure Fund recently. Okay, recently basically means in the month of July it was given from the year 2020 itself. Total outflow as budgetary support from Government of India for Agri-Infrastructure Fund would be rupees 10,736 crore rupees. What will be the duration of this fund? So, three very important things you have to know about Agri-Infrastructure Fund. First, it is a central sector scheme. It's not a central sponsored scheme. Central sector scheme means that the burden, financial burden, is going to be borne by the central government itself, right? Second important thing, the budget. So 10,736 crore rupees is going to be provided by the government as a budgetary allocation. That is, in the budget they are going to provide this money. Third, duration of the fund. That is the question. I am hoping you all knew the answer. Starting from fiscal year 2020 to 2032 or 2029, 2035, 2027 or 2025. So our answer would be 2020 to 2029. Option 2 is the right answer. Okay. Please note this down. Agri-Infrastructure Fund runs from 2020 to 29, right? And the budgetary allocation is also relevant for you. The scheme is going to provide medium to long-term debt financing facility for investment in viable projects for what? Post-harvest management of infrastructure management, and 1 lakh crore is going to be provided by banks and financial institutions to self-help groups, farmers, farmer producer organization, etc. Right? Agri-Infra Fund. So basically, government is focusing on the infrastructure that we are lacking in the agriculture sector. We do not have good storage facilities. We do not have transportation facilities. With transportation, I want to tell you about Kisan Rail. Yesterday in your class, we have read about this Kisan Rail. It was announced in the budget of this particular 2019-20. And guys, this rail, now 100 trains are running, which are taking the perishable produced goods of the farmers from one place to another. This is again a very important project of the government, right? Taking you to next question. Which of the following does not match the eligibility criteria for entering into the Pradhan Mantri Kisan Maan Dhan Yojana, which is a social security scheme exclusively for the farmers of India? So, Pradhan Mantri Kisan Maan Dhan Yojana is basically a social security scheme for farmers. You have to tell me that which of the statements does not match the eligibility criteria. Any farmer who is a citizen of India can avail the scheme. Entry age is going to be 18 to 40. Farmers with cultivable land up to 2 hectares are eligible. All of the above or none of the above? What do you think could be the answer? Guys, any farmer who is a citizen of India cannot avail this scheme because it says this thing, option 3, right? Because the farmers with cultivable land up to 2 hectares are eligible, so any farmer cannot avail this scheme. Otherwise, the rest all the things are right. Entry age is 18 to 40 and 2 hectares is the option, right? Okay, we have one important question from State of Forest Report. So, State of Forest Report is not directly related to agriculture, but this question is related to bamboo cultivation. So, I have brought it here. As per the State of Forest Report of India 2019, which of the following states has maximum bamboo bearing area in India? So, maximum bamboo bearing area in India is in the state of Madhya Pradesh. Okay. Madhya Pradesh has this area of 200 million hectare, which is followed by Maharashtra and Arunachal Pradesh, right? So, MP followed by the neighboring state of Maharashtra. Highest bamboo bearing area. Very important. Bamboo is considered very important. Bamboo excellence centers are now also being opened by the government so that bamboo production can be increased in India. It is 2 million hectare. Question 14th, guys. This is related to fisheries. Minister of Fisheries, Animal Husbandry and Dairying introduced a new scheme called as Interest Subvention on Working Capital Loans for Dairy Sector. Okay, which of the following is not true regarding this scheme? So, this is about dairy sector interest subvention. Statements are given. I'll read out them for you. To support dairy cooperatives and FPOs engaged in dairy activities. It is launched for 2021, implemented by Ministry of Fishery Animal Husbandry through NDDB, that is National Dairy Development Board. Fourth says, provision for providing interest subvention of 2% per annum with additional incentive of 2% per annum to be given in case of prompt and timely repayment of the servicing. Or none of the above is not true. That means all 4 statements will hold true. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, my dear friends, answer is none of the above is not true. That means 1, 2, 3, 4 are true regarding this particular scheme. So, it was launched for this particular year, right? Launched by which ministry? This you know, the ministry which has launched it is going to implement it, and provision is for 2% interest subvention followed by 2% extra subvention. So, if you are a prompt repayee who is taking advantage of this scheme, then you will be given 4% of interest subvention under this working capital loan for dairy sector wala scheme. Okay guys, very important scheme again this is. Ministry of Fishery, Animal Husbandry, Dairying. Question 15th. Acha, answer is also here. So, which of the following is not true regarding RIDF, Rural Infrastructure Development Fund? So, Rural Infrastructure Development Fund is important because it is most of the things under rural area are related to agriculture only. Okay. So, RIDF is a pool which is created, I'll tell you directly, it is created by a shortfall of specified priority sector lending of banks. If banks are not able to allocate priority sector lending, what the target said, then the shortfall goes to RIDF. Domestic commercial banks contribute to the fund, whatever their shortfall is, right? To provide loans to state governments and state-owned corporations to complete the rural infrastructure projects, and it is managed by NABARD, guys. NABARD is your main national bank for agriculture as well as rural development, and both are interrelated in our country, so that's why it's important, right? RIDF is a very important fund, guys. It's a very old fund and still up and running because of the priority sector lending of the targets, right? Question 16th, guys, again based on the annual report of NABARD. Which of the following states stands first in terms of marine fish production? I think this is a repeat question. We have covered it. It's Gujarat. Okay. I have told you the entire story of Gujarat coastline wala thing, right? So, my last question from Agri Census. As per Agri Census 2015-16, Which of the following states has highest number of operational holdings for all the social groups? So Agri Census was launched in 2015-16. Probably it is going to be launched soon again, Agri Census. But as per the latest census, the highest number of operational holdings in all social group categories is under Bihar, Maharashtra, UP, Gujarat or MP. So my dear friends, answer is UP, Uttar Pradesh. So 16% farmers and tillers are there here, which is followed by Bihar, which is followed by Maharashtra. So UP, Bihar, Maharashtra, three major states when it comes to farmers. So highest number of operational holdings are in the state of UP in all the social groups. Social groups include SCs, STs, etc. Right? So guys, that's it from my end. I hope you found the session useful. It is going to be a lot of help to you for the examination of AFO. Okay, and I wish you all the best from the entire team of EduTap and from Veena ma'am and my side. Right, for any query, please feel free to drop us a mail at hello@edutap.co.in. If you like this video, do click on like button, drop a comment about the same, and do find out the homework which I gave to you. I had given you the homework which was mentioned earlier. Please do the comment below regarding the same. So thank you. Bye bye for your time.